right, now moving on to item number 5, California Citizens Option for Public Safety, or the COPS funding for 2015-2016. Chief Landon.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. You have before you an item for a public hearing and the authorization to accept grant funding for the COPS grant, which is citizen option. Every year, depending upon state budget priorities, funds may be allocated to law enforcement agencies to assist in carrying out priorities as established by the Chief of Police. Over the last several years, monies have been made available through the state of California to local enforcement entities in the form of the COPS grant. This year, the City of Yuba City Police Department will receive approximately $100,000. The state government code restricts the money to be used for frontline law enforcement purposes and may not be used to supplant any existing law enforcement services provided by the city. We have been notified by the State Department of Finance that the state budget will allocate approximately $100,000 for the YCPD and no cash match is required. The police department has traditionally utilized the funding obtained in this grant for major approval expenditure category of technology advancements and infrastructure improvements for the benefit of frontline law enforcement delivery to the citizens. Funding directions are based upon needs assessment from the department management group in consultation with the rank and file employees and direction from the city's IT staff and our research and development units within the department. Prior years' expenditures have been for such items as a complete infrastructure upgrade of the police radio system, repeater radio frequency and related equipment, Sutter Butte's radio interoperability project phase 1, the EOC retrofit, total service weapon upgrade for all officers, equipping all patrol vehicles with mobile data terminals, the computers that are currently in there, required upgrades in the fire computer-aided dispatching system, secure video conferencing capabilities, and other items for the Office of Emergency Services so we can integrate with them and through FEMA. We suggest a continuation along this path of technology evaluation and implementation, which has served us well over the last 10 years. This year, we'd also like to utilize some of the money to purchase automated license plate readers. This equipment will allow us to more readily locate and prevent motor vehicle theft through the use of technology, which is currently one of the biggest problems in the Sacramento Valley. We're one of the highest areas that is targeted for motor vehicle theft. The license plate readers allows us to rapidly check vehicles and ensure they are not stolen in a much more efficient and effective manner than an officer running each one individually. Our desire is to purchase at least one fixed location and one mobile location, vehicle mounted, utilized within the city of Yuba City. We're also investigating the purchase of a front gate card access to the police department similar to the one located at City Hall entrances. Currently, we basically have a touchpad where you have to reprogram it every time an employee is changed or a different vendor has to have access for a period of time. It's a lot more efficient for us to just have a card reader so an officer or somebody that works there can use it. And then if somebody is, for whatever reason, no longer allowed access, that still allows us to change that more rapidly than it does now. It also allows greater security of the YCPD parking lot and the sensitive equipment located within the fence confines of the YCPD. The fiscal impact of basically it's $100,000 that goes to the state grant law enforcement equipment fund and the related revenue account. The alternative would be provide staff with alternative spending paths which would not supplant routine expenditures in the general fund. And the recommendation of staff is to adopt a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the fiscal year 2015-2016 COPS funding and approve expenditure recommendations. Further authorize the Chief Financial Officer to make budget adjustments as necessary. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mayor, for any questions of the council.
All right, are there questions from council?
Yes, through the mayor. Chief Landon, when this license plate reader makes readings of license plates, how long does it hold that? Is it, how often is the memory dumped on it? Does it hold it? Because there are patterns that people go on in cars, might be concerned of something of that nature.
Absolutely, and there was just recently an an assembly bill that was passed. I think it was Assembly Bill or Senate Bill number 34 that takes effect in January that makes us, it has certain patterns on how long we can hold equipment. I believe it's 60 days for information. Okay. We're not in the, we don't want to store the data because that becomes problematic for us. Our whole goal is to run the plates if they come back not stolen, or if there's somebody that's not identified as a wanted felon that's associated with that vehicle, then we have no need to store that data, and we'd rather not.
Right. I just want the public to know that, yes, you know, I assumed that, but want the public to know and to hear from you how you would operate that. And the other question is on personal cameras, would that be something that was day-to-day, or how are we going to be able, are you going to be considering any of that through technology?
The body cameras,
Body
individual.
cameras.
That's already been approved through a prior grant. Where we're at right now is the researching of the best equipment. I think council member or
Right.
John Mayor, Vice Mayor Buckman was talking before about making sure that we have the data or the equipment that's going to be the best use for the officers. We've researched some. We have some out in the field right now that we're testing. We just went to Cops West, where every year they bring the best technology from around the country into one location. We're able to get the vendors up to us, to Yuba City PD, and we can have them demonstrate the different abilities. Because again, storage is our biggest problem. Is it's not having the data or taking the data. It's what we do with the data afterwards and make sure that we do dispose of it properly and in a amount of time so we don't keep it forever.
Thank you very much.
Other questions? One further question I have for you is also on vehicle registrations. Does it, in addition to stolen vehicles or an individual that has a warrant associated with that particular vehicle, does it also run for current registration on the vehicles too?
Do you mean to check if, just to clarify, to see if the vehicle is not expired?
Correct.
I'm not sure that the one that we're going to have has that capability. Most of them do. We're in the early stages, and that would be something I'm sure that we would be looking at to make sure it wasn't a false registration on the plate.
All right, thank you. All right, entertain a motion.
Public hearings.
Oh, excuse me. All right, we'll open the public hearing and allow those from the public who wish to speak on this item to step to the podium. Doesn't appear like there's anyone who wants to, so we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for action. Move to approve.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.